Good morning, children. Today we are going to learn the fifth chapter, which is cloud computing. It's very important to learn cloud computing for your future. Let me share the screen with you. Okay, this chapter is about cloud computing. What do you mean by cloud computing? Cloud computing is a technology where a user can access remote servers. Actually, we have a server in this for every computer, in your personal computers. Each one of you have a server, right? When you see in the school, you have your own servers. But these are termed as remote servers because there's a place where many servers are joined together to become one server, and their people can access and store their information in such a type of server. That's called as cloud computing. So there are people, the user is able to access remote servers that are hosted over the internet. You need internet for doing this service. So it stores and manages the data that you are storing in their cloud computing services. So it's better than a local server or your personal computer, because your personal computer will have only some limited amount of storage, whereas the servers, which these remote servers given by the cloud computing, are very fast, and it's over the internet, and you can access how much ever storage you require. So what are the things that you would store on the computer, and what are the best examples for a cloud computing? When you store your photos, what do you do it? You store your photos online. When your cell phone gets overloaded, you can do everything online. So all your information online, like photos are saved online through what? Through the web mails. What are your web mails? Your Gmail, Yahoo Mail, Hotmail. These are some of your web mails. Also, your social networking sites like Facebook, Twitter, they also are using the cloud computing services. Now, before the cloud, computing services, we also had something like the cloud computing services, but they were termed as the traditional IT service, or you can call as traditional information technology service. So before the cloud, these companies had their own servers to store, like how we have our own servers, but they were quite big. They were storing all the information of an office. And this was an offline server, like how you store right now. Sometimes you store some information from the YouTube offline. You can see it for a certain number of days. Yes, they were storing all their information offline. That means they are called the host website sites. It's their, they use it for their own selves. Nobody else can use it. It's only the companies. So this host websites on their own premises server. That is their own servers, and they could add more servers whenever they required. Suppose the storage system was totally used up by one server, or they want new websites to add, then they would mm, get another server. But having so many servers connected through this what should I say, traditional system, it was creating a lot of problems. And in this setup, it created many problems. Let's see some of the problems that it created. So what do you understand by the online service? The servers that are installed within the organization premises. They are called as online premises servers. And they are maintained and managed in a company. And so that's why it's very expensive, and this is called as the online premises server. Here, of course, they have good security, they have good protection, because it's within the organization. You can term it as an intranet because it's within an organization. Internet means all over the world, which is expanding all over the world. But intranet is within a particular organization. So security is there. There's lots of security. But say, these servers, they would fail and result in disaster. Why? Because whenever you added more servers and they were added features on the website, these things, they would actually, the webs would crash. And if, whenever there's more websites, what would happen? There would be an increase in traffic of usage of those sites. And what would happen is the website would crash. It would stop totally working. So whenever you added any features or in the website, these online premises servers, they became a hit. Actually, it was very good. Definitely, if any new service is given to you, which is much very good, you'll definitely want to use that service. And when you try to use the service, there is increase in traffic. Many people want to use it. And so did the website crash. So after you have brought the server, there's a disadvantage also. And when you buy the server, and if there is a drop in the traffic, you don't need the server for many other things. You don't have much business. So definitely you won't use the servers. What would happen? The server would lie idle, not being used most of the time. And you would go at a heavy loss. And so whatever money you have invested, it's a bad investment. It does not get you any profits. I hope you understood. Adding new features to the servers on the website, it increased the traffic and it resulted in the crash of the website, and it brought heavy losses. And even the person who has to use these types of servers, it's very difficult for him, because whenever you keep adding servers and website, he has to really, you need a person who's really dedicated to do this type of work. Okay, so because this traditional IT servers or the on-premises servers did not work out, there was constant development or advancement in the technology to make it more, um, flexible to use. So they had created the modern server options for business to provide flexibility, to provide give efficiency, good services. All these things could be done on the cloud-based server, which is termed as cloud computing. So it is much better than the online servers. So if you have to choose between a cloud computing server and cloud server and a traditional server, which one would you use? Let's say okay, these are some of the, I told you, uh, you need a lot of type of, what is it, the operating system. When you use this online servers, they have many operating systems, and you don't have to just only stick to Windows. Some people use Linux and Mac operating systems. They use Red Hat, and there are many actually. These are few of them that I've put. So whenever you want to use any operating, you don't have to download it into your computer, because if you download it in the computer, all the storage is being used up and you cannot use it again. So you can use such type of operating systems offline. So it's gives you even these programs created for business, for doing calculations and many other things. So what did you understand by the online services, online premise services? What does the online premise server mean? An online premise server has been primarily, it was before the cloud server, and still it is there. It is really giving some facilities to certain companies are using it privately for their own companies, but there are some pros and cons. Pros and cons means some advantages and disadvantages. Let's see them. Pros is the advantage. Here, physical control over the hardware. One person can just handle the whole hardware. You don't have to give it to another person, where he can see all your details, all your profits and whatever you're dealing with. And but if you're going to give one person to do all this so much of work, then it would be very really a dedicated person to do all this work was required. So you needed a dedicated IT support for all these things. The critical data is stored on premises, no third party. So here you don't have a third party, but whereas in cloud server you have a third party. There's a big server and you have many people who are providing you these services of cloud. They are the third service. Of course, they won't do such a thing because you will have security base. So here, there's no third party access. So the con is you require hardware and infrastructure capital investment. You have to invest a lot to buy a server, such a big server. Then do not rely on internet access. See, here we need, in the cloud computing, you definitely need the internet, but in online premises, you don't need the internet. Okay, it's a intranet that you're requiring, that is within the organization, just connecting all the computers within the organization. It's like a LAN. So it does not rely on the internet. And what is the cons? You will not definitely get upgrading in the system, because it's not on the internet. If you're on the internet, anybody who makes a new program will definitely install it on the internet or provide it to people to use it. Then here you see the process. More cost effective for companies not concerning about uptime. It has its own pros and cons. Here it is cost effective, actually it's costly only, but okay for a company, and they're not concerned about any updating. If it is just the work is done for their type of administration, it is enough. They don't want any big programmers or anything. It is only doing their company work. They are very satisfied with the types of on-premises service. And but here, if you keep on adding computers and more type of information on it, most type of sites, then definitely you'll have data loss in it. Sometimes such type of emergency, because you're going on storing so much of information, it can lead to data loss. It cannot happen in cloud computing because you have many servers which are made into a one big server. Let's see cloud computing. The cloud computing, you don't have to buy your own servers because it's already there on the cloud. It's an online service where you can just access and pay only for the things that you're using. So you don't need any capital investment. And here the con is you definitely need a good internet speed and good connection controls. If you're taking an internet connection also, it should be at high speed so that you can access the cloud services. Data can be backed up regularly and minimizing the loss of risk, the risk of losing any of your information. You can every day, you can back up as much information as you want and you never lose your information or your data. And what is the con for it? You have a third party. He might access your data, but it's not so like how it says. He might access your data, but we have our own passwords and everything. So it cannot be a con actually, but we take it as a con. So here in the Pro, we see that the advantages only pay for the options that you need and what you're accessing. Only for that you're going to pay. And here the con is access to data is solely dependent on the internet connection. If you have a real, you need to create a new program. Definitely you have different programs on the internet like GIU and all to create programs. So you definitely need a good connection and a high speed connection of your internet. So it totally depends upon your internet connections. Next advantage is great for expanding companies growth. Any company that is really growing, it's very good for them because they can take the new information and develop their infrastructure. So it is for global usage. And here you see the cons is cost outweighs benefits for companies not reliant on uptime. So sometimes sometimes those benefits are not much but it has a high cost. So for uptime, companies suppose that there is a change in the company. It's not useful to always take this access. Let's go to the next slide. There's another thing, yeah, online pros and cons. Okay, so what did you learn from these differences that you saw? The pros and cons, the advantages and the disadvantages. What did you analyze their problems and advantages? Let's just summarize with what we learned. You see that in the on-premises server, the setup is expensive. The server, when it's idle for most of the time in an on-premises server, the machine is definitely bound to fail one day if you don't use it and if there's too much of traffic. And maintaining these type of many servers is really tedious for the IT person who is working on it. To handle such tedious jobs, such problems, a new model or of infrastructure was made. And what do you think that was? It was the cloud server. With cloud computing, many problems were solved. Let's see what are the problems that were solved. First thing is it was affordable. You don't have to invest for putting a server. So no need to buy an expensive server. You can just put your data onto the cloud server, back it up and store it, and it never gets lost. It's not deleted, or you don't lose, the server does not crash. Scalability. Scalability, when there is lots of traffic towards a server, it, scales up the traffic and sees that everybody gets the information, so that's done automatically. Then scaling workloads, will meet the real-time demands, who is really in need of those type of services. Now, you are not going to pay for everything, but only for the service that you're accessing. Cloud versus premises, it's almost the same. Let's see, what is online premises? They also termed as traditional IT or a local server, it's called. Cloud is computing is a new technology, and it is termed as an IT industry. And cloud services are similar to online premises, also same. They both have to store files, data, and other levels of user information. The same thing is with premises. They also do the same thing. Cloud computing solutions are accessed via the internet, but for online, you don't need the internet. It's within an organization, it's done offline, and it's called as intranet. Some services that are provided by cloud, which you can see right now, is your mobile postpaid connections, your electricity bills. The bill is for a particular month, and you're paying only for the services that you have used. Whereas in the on-premises setup and managing is very expensive, managing the traffic is tedious because you have to pay all the money right at the beginning. Some of the cloud services providers, you must be knowing them already because you must be going on to Amazon. Amazon is one of the cloud services provider. They are also termed as the AWS or the Amazon Web Service provider, and they provide around 5,326 services. And some of the services have been given in your books, that is EC2, which means elasticity in the cloud computing. It's flexible. S3 means simple storage services. You don't have to go through all those tedious things. You need to put your storage into certain type of file storage. It goes into that. You can make different types of files to store your information. So simple storage system. RDS, it's termed as relational database services. So you must be creating so many types of tables for your processing of what is your cost of buying these things, and you can relate one table to another and cross check all of them, comparison and direct connect. The next vendor or your cloud service provider is your Microsoft. It's called as Microsoft OZA, and it provides 4,129 services, and they are the OZA AD Connect, OZA Data Lake, Microsoft OZA Office 365. The next vendor is Google. You use Google every day, so you know how it works. It's an app engine, computer engine. It has a cloud storage and also cloud data storage. One of it is, you can say, the Cloud SQL. It helps you to set up, maintain, manage your administration through a relational database. Just now I told you what is relational database, relating your different tables that you have created, your information. A BigQuery and cloud endpoints are the other services. Then comes your IBM. It's called as Salesforce IBM. So it's called Sales Cloud, and the types of services they have is Sales Cloud and Service Cloud. IBM Watson, it's a technology that analyzes the human speech, and it checks the meaning. It gives you a correct meaning and syntax. So it analyzes even if your speech is not very clear. Maybe if you have another language, you speak another language, your speech definitely wouldn't be clear. It processes the data and answers all your questions in whatever way you ask it. So it poses questions. Often, in a fraction of seconds, it gives you the answer. And there's another service called the IBM Bluemix. This is an old version of your IBM Watson, and it supports several programming languages. You know what are your programming languages, right? You have Java and all these things. Um, it manages the services, all these services on the cloud. So if you don't have any of your programming languages of today, like Python and what is it, any HTML or every type of languages, you can just get it over the cloud. So these are the service provider: Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and IBM. This is your worksheet. The first says the cloud computing uh, is a complete based internet service provider. Then the services that are installed within an organization, what are they termed as? They are called as on-premises server, and which is the thing that provides and manages your service. It's the cloud. And AWS stands for Amazon Web Server. And also technology, how many types of services does it provide? 4,129 types of services. The cloud services are in the form of utility computing, that's also called as cloud providers. This dash computing refers to applications and servers that run on distributed network, and they are the clouds. Which of the following cloud platforms is by Amazon? It is AWS. Then that is Amazon Web Services. Then the next one is advantages of cloud computing is it definitely saves your money. It has security. Yes, it manages all your information in an easy way. I would say all the above. Before cloud, what was this thing that was used offline? It's a local server. It was the on-premises server. State whether true or false. A cloud's environment can be accessed from anywhere. Yes, you can access it from anywhere. Cloud providers provide cloud services to the cloud users. Yes, whoever opts for the cloud user, actually you get 1 month free. I mean, for some time you get free to use a cloud so that you'll know how the cloud works. You can try it. Access to cloud environment always costs more money. No, it's very, very reasonable. Amazon and Microsoft are examples of cloud computing providers. Yes, even IBM. And choose the correct words from the brackets. AWS is provided by who? By Amazon. Azure is provided by Microsoft. Google is providing app engines. Amazon providing 5,326 services. These are only 2 question answers that are there. Please check, complete all your work, children. I hope you understood the lesson. It was quite simple. Go through the video again. Thank you. Have a nice day. Stay safe.